Hello and a huge Sim Night Racing welcome. My name is Tom Allen and I'm joined by Harry Witter. Welcome to Spa for today's action and a double header full of entertainment. Round 2 of the opening season of the Sim Night Racing Championship. Harry, over to you for the qualifying times.
So a close qualifying session resulted in the top 5 qualifying within 0.3 of each other. Jay in the Lamborghini just ahead of Craig, also in the Lamborghini on 2.18.5s. Graham, Mark and Tino complete the top 5 and it's set up what should be a very close race.
Thanks, Harry. Let's get straight stuck into the action then as we head into Eau Rouge for Turn 1. I can't think of too many more challenging corners for Turn 1, but remarkably well behaved, Harry. I think we all got through here relatively unscathed.
Yeah, fantastically well behaved. Makes sense, doesn't it? You can't win the race at the first corner. Everyone's through there cleanly and battle can commence.
What a run for Graham as we head up to Le Com and the two Lambos side by side. Graham trying to tuck in for the slipstream and just gets caught out a little bit under braking as the guys turn into the right-hander, but he just stick it out around the escape road and nearly maintains position.
Yeah, incredibly easy to do on lap 1 when you're sat underneath someone's rear wing. You can just lose sight of your braking spot, and I'm very impressed that he managed to avoid it, to be honest. And as he recovers onto the circuit, here's me and Tino trying to make the most of his transgression. Tino gets a really clean move done on the inside. I tried to hang it out, but lose a little bit of traction on the exit. Graham's got me covered.
So the close battling continued on then as we moved on to lap 6 and the cars were battling down into Le Com, and Tino gets really unlucky here. You'll see just a little bit too much of the curb on the inside, bit of power on the exit, and unfortunately just wheels it round as well to keep it out the wall.
Indeed, yeah, easily done, and we're going to see a very, very rare mistake from Mark here, who does a very similar thing. I think he just clips the curb and carries a little bit too much speed in. I was going to say well saved, but he does end up against the barrier and loses a couple of positions.
And now we see the car of Jay Brooker. The Lamborghini was just unbeatable today as he wheels around the final chicane. It was pretty much a lights to flag win from Jay as he led Craig home. Craig, remember, the star of the Monza race. And he comes over the line to take what is a very well-deserved victory, Harry.
Yeah, fantastic clinical win for Jay there. That puts him onto the back of the grid for the reverse grid race 2, which leaves Harry Cleaver with a debut pole position.
So well done to everyone for that race then, and now we move into what can be considered a bit of a mixed-up event as Harry leads us into the Eau Rouge for race 2, and this is going to get a bit feisty. There's a few quick drivers at the back. They'll be anxious to make their mark, and Harry just wheels it up into Eau Rouge flat out to start us off.
Yep, really good start from Harry in the top 2 or 3 cars, starting to pull away from the group a little bit. Nice and clean through Eau Rouge and Radeon. Bit of a mess in the back of the pack though, I think, Tom.
Yeah, a little bit of contact as some of the quicker cars tried to get through quite rapidly at Eau Rouge, but I think those that were patient were rewarded. And a bit unlucky for Chris there as he just got caught out by Harry's braking quite late into the Com chicane. And I think if we look at the back of the pack, there's also a little bit of a spin there as Liam cuts back across the track and a bit of unlucky contact.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate really. I don't think anyone was too much of a victim of it. It's one of those things that happens on lap 1, especially in reverse grids. You can see the action here. It's pretty much too wide, too wide, too wide. It's a Noah's Ark of a first lap.
Noah's Ark of a first lap indeed, and I think we spoke last week about it being a bit IndyCar, and I think there was some phenomenally close battles as we head around lap 1, especially into the back straight. Cars slipstreaming side by side, getting right tucked on under the nose of each other and really just trying to take advantage of the cars in front.
Absolutely. There's Mark putting 2 very important passes on nice and early in the race to give himself some clean air.
Really clinical braking there, and you can see in the background nearly going 4 wide. Cars all over the track, strung everywhere and trying to take advantage.
Absolutely. This is where the people who were patient at the start are really reaping the benefits. I'm in that pack as well, and I just kept my nose clean. Nearly had a little bit of a moment here, as we can see, but I managed to collect it up just about.
Speaking of that, you'll see a few cars just getting right stuck up under your rear wing and sort of drafting you into Blanchimont now as we get 3 wide, 4 wide. We've got 4 cars on a postage stamp here, and I think that contributes a little bit to what comes next.
Unfortunately, there was the tiniest bit of contact just running up to Blanchimont, and a few cars fell victim. I managed to completely skirt it somehow, but it was just luck. I think you got caught out, didn't you, Tom?
Certainly did. It was a very unlucky. Took under the rear wing of the car in front, then you look down, you look up, and suddenly you're at the scene of the accident. So one of those things really for that one. I think anyone could have done.
Absolutely. This is Mark continuing to make progress through the field. Just nice, clean, clinical moves, keeping out of trouble, and puts him in good stead for the rest of the race.
La Source was the source of a lot of action today, and people keen to get a really good exit, really good drive down into Eau Rouge. I think it was the place where a lot of positions were made up or lost today.
Absolutely. So you've got Cupera getting another position here on Chris. Just a nice clean run through Eau Rouge. Got the move done well before the braking zone.
Absolutely, and it has to be said, Chris was up running at the front for quite a substantial amount of time. I think he caught a little bit of damage a little bit later, but really did do well in the opening lap.
Absolutely. Me just slowly making my way through the field here. I do think there was a tiny bit of contact there, but I don't think it contributed too much to what happened. We've got Craig just behind me, who's really pushing on as well. It was a great battle between me and Craig for the entire race long. He was really pushing me.
I'd have to say, he's making you breathe in at the back there as he keeps right up on the rear wing of Chris. And phenomenal battle as always, and going through Blanchimont. The cars look beautiful through there.
They do indeed. This is a fantastic move from Craig. Just hangs it out on the outside around Blanchimont itself and completes the move. Space given, space afforded, and a fantastic bit of racing that.
Spectacular stuff. Would love to see the throttle trace. I don't think either driver was even tempted to lift.
Can't imagine so. This is the move of the race for me, Tom. This is two cars side by side for 5 or 6 corners. Look at the racing room, the respect, the space given. Absolutely fantastic stuff.
Really is. They're like driving on Scalextric lines here, and you would not guess who's going to come out on top until you see the final result. Loads of respect between these two seasoned pros, I would say. And look at that, Chris just keeping a wide angle line through that corner, and Mark finally sneaking through in the end as we're going to the no-name back straight.
Absolutely. This is I need to mention that Tino had made up another position there. He managed to get round Harry in that chicane, so he is the new leader of the race.
It really was a phenomenal start from young Harry Cleaver as he held on to a really good start and racing position in the opening few laps, really getting to grips with Spa after race 1. We've got side-by-side action to Blanchimont. We've seen a little bit of this so far, and just a bit of bad luck, I think, there. What would you say, Harry, about that?
I just think they both turned towards each other. I don't think even they knew how it happened, if I'm being honest. What an unusual incident. I'm making the most of Callum's unfortunate situation there and just nipping one up the inside.
Yeah, they say 2 into 1 doesn't go right. It was very, very strange. I think both cars were just trying to think about where the other car was going, and just a bit of unfortunate contact. So unlucky on both accounts, I would say. But a bit of an opportunist move here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Callum got really unlucky. Obviously, Chris got unlucky because he ended up with damage, but Callum also lost 2 positions straight off the bat from that little incident as well. So this is some fantastic action. Side by side, heading down to Eau Rouge.
Shades of Alonso and Webber.
Indeed.
Stuck it out. Oh, late on the brakes, just shaves the wall. Oh, incredible.
Impressive stuff. I think Callum just got onto the dirty stuff. It was never going to work. There's only one way that usually ends, and that was one of the best ways it can end, actually, if I'm being honest.
Well done, Callum. Managed to just maintain position and has to fight it out into the braking zone here, though, and does lose one more place. So unlucky. We always encourage battling for your position in this league.
Yeah, it fought for the position, but losing the position to Jay with his pace over the 2 races today isn't such a bad thing. I think Callum did extremely well.
You certainly did. And now we get into a tale of the 2 Harrys. So Harry Witter slipstreaming Harry Cleaver down into turn 1, back into La Source, deep on the brakes. Great respect there from young Cleaver, just keeping a wide line. Unfortunate to run over the sausage curb, but Witter gets the job done.
A little bit of misfortune's going to come Harry's way here as well. Harry Cleaver, that is. I think he just gets swamped by the raging bulls behind him.
The 2 dominant drivers, I think, of race 1. The Huracan proving to be a phenomenal car around La Source. And look at this, he's going nearly 3 wide into the Fagnes chicane. Harry just tries to hold the position, runs a little bit wide. 2 cars that stay on the track just then swamp him up again. So unlucky from Harry, good battling.
Absolutely, but he does get the save of the day, Tom, for this sweet manoeuvre here. That's an awful lot of oppo, that. And he's kept it on the black stuff. Absolutely fantastic work.
Tell you what, I think everyone who's been through Eau Rouge flat out lived that with him right there.
Absolutely, that is a fantastic bit of driving.
On board with the senior Cleaver now as he absolutely slings it over Eau Rouge, gets straight into the slipstream of Mr. Flanker and just gets by. I think Chris by this point had a little bit of damage. You can see he's losing a lot of time in this straight line, so a bit of an unlucky race for Chris really as he just started to tread backwards in the field.
this is the last lap. And for the entire of the last lap, we're just going to focus on the battle between these two cars at the front of the field, because I was sat in P3 for this, Tom, and it was an absolute pleasure to watch.
Lamborghini, Ferrari, a reminder that Lamborghini was formed after an argument with Enzo Ferrari. There's a personal battle happening here as we go deep in the Ardennes forest, heading up Eau Rouge into Raidillon, and then over the top of the hill, up the climb into Le Combe, and you can see that Marc is getting right up in the slipstream. You can see he just smells victory at this point.
Does indeed. Very good driving by Capera there, just holds the inside line, forces Marc to do the hard work. Marc's very, very smart in wheel-to-wheel battle, and you know that he's trying to work out what Tino's thinking, and I think Tino's probably working out what Marc's thinking.
Absolutely. You can see Marc just holding on exit, taking the wider line, getting the exit speed, and all the while you've got 2, 3, 4 cars sitting in behind thinking, actually, one slip from either of these two, one little bit of contact, and there's a race win in this for me.
Honestly, Tom, that's what I was thinking. I was certain that something was going to happen. I was going to slip through for the easy victory, but these two were just on another level today. They really were.
Marc looking to occupy Tino's mirrors in every which way, thinking, which way am I going? Which way is he going to brake? Was he watching me, or is he watching his braking points? But Tino, you can see, eyes down, face forward, absolutely nailing those braking points each time.
Yeah, absolutely. The composure is fantastic. And you can see that Marc's just working out where he's going to give it a go. And in a minute, you can see that he pulls the trigger and decides, now is the time. Now is the time to go for it. I think Tino gets a little bit of a poor exit off that last corner through campus. And it's all down to the bus stop chicane.
One big braking point to go. Bit of slipstream from Tino. It all lies on the final corner. How good a final lap do you want, guys? Pick your winner if you are watching in the YouTube now. Guess who's going to take this race? Going to the final corner. It's a left and a right.
Tiny little bit of contact there, but they both knew the game that they were playing, and Marc is going to hold on to the finish line. What a fantastic last lap. And the top 5 finishing within 2 seconds of each other after a 25-minute reverse grid race. Incredible stuff. So after that fantastic final lap, Marc just taking the victory over Tino. Just ahead of myself, Jay and Craig to fill out the top 5. The top 5 after a 25-minute race finishing within 2.2 seconds of each other. Absolutely fantastic racing. So moving on to the championship standings after 3 rounds. Craig Hill on 91 points in P1. Jay Brooker, our 2 standout drivers from today. No surprise to see them taking up the top 2 spots. Myself, Marc and Tino finishing off the top 5. Now over to Tom to look at the awards for the race.
Thanks, Harry. Really amazing that we had 3 winners in our first 3 races. The field really is so close in this series so far, so long may that continue. Today's awards, we've got the Sebastian Vettel Award for Mark Bayliss. We covered the most places from the first lap, and Liam won the award for the most places gained in the last 5 laps, so well done to you both for keeping going right until the very end. The fastest lap award goes to Craig Hill. Really consistent at Monza and really quick today, so phenomenal effort from Craig. And the most consistent driver of the day, and a big shout out to Lord Lambert. It's his first race with us and managed an average lap time deviation of 0.3, which really is mega consistent. Jay Brooker wins the driver of the day. Great positions in both races, really battled through in the second race, so well done, Jay. And a big well done to Sim Night's own Harry Witter, who managed to win the Max Verstappen fastest lap that never was award for taking a liberal chunk of Eau Rouge 0.6 faster on a non-valid lap, so well done to Harry. And then a special award for today's event, the Jacques Villeneuve and Ricardo Zonta Awards, both Craig Hill and Graham Potter, for the fastest average times in Sector 1. And let's really be clear on this, down to the exact same time over the race to the thousandths of a second. So well done to you both. That's amazing work through Eau Rouge, showing you can take it flat out every single time. Back over to you, Harry.
Thank you, Tom, and a big Sim Night thank you to everyone that took part in this weekend's races. Absolutely fantastic stuff from everyone involved. Very much looking forward to next week's race at Hungary. See you there.